Ladies and gentlemen, it is the highly anticipated start to the final season of the NASCAR Thunder 2004 playthrough. Season 2, to be exact. It is a fan-voted season in which you guys last night before the Budweiser shootout in the live chat had voted for one particular person, and the winner of that was Terry Labonte. So we ran as Terry Labonte in the Bud shootout, coming off with a win in last night's race. We continue Speed Weeks as well as concluding Speed Weeks here today with running the Gatorade 125 or the Gatorade Duel race. We're about to find out which one of those two races we will be in as we are about to qualify for the Daytona 500 and then have that qualifying race underway. It'll be a 50-lap event, very short sprint to the end of the race, and then the Daytona 500 will be in about another hour from now. So thanks for everybody tuning in. Joshua, Rumsey, Diamond, Jeff, welcome to the stream here early on. See if there's anybody else in the chat room that was waiting. Darren Dill, welcome to the stream as well. So 2 laps to qualify. We'll see who is going to start on the front row for the Daytona 500, as that is all that is going to get set right now. For the first race of the season, we're going to run this normal paint scheme here for Terry Labonte. And again, only first and second place will be set in qualifying for the 500. The rest of the starting lineup will be set because of the two dual races. As I'm getting my words mixed up here. So qualifying lap number 1, stay low and go around this racetrack. Now, granted, on the first lap, you could try to pick up speed, maybe trying to run the outside a little bit. That's what Labonte's going to try to do here in turns 3 and 4. Maybe try to get a run off of turn 4 this time. So his first lap is already not going to be as good as his second lap. He's trying to pick up as much speed as he can. Then he'll run all the way on the inside by the time the next lap starts. 7th place on lap 1, even running the outside in turns 3 and 4. Labonte's got great speed. This is going to be interesting. A little bit of the apron there, but I don't think it slowed him down much. Really good corner in turns 3 and 4. Near perfect for Terry Labonte as he comes through the tri-oval. Down to the start-finish line, got a chop to the apron now, doing everything he can to cut time down, and Terry Labonte will sit on the pole for the Daytona 500. What a start to Speed Weeks there, wins the Bud Shootout, then wins the pole for the Daytona 500. He will be locked up no matter what happens in this duel race. He will be starting from first, as long as he doesn't wreck at least in the Gatorade Duel. Then he would have to go to a backup car and start at the rear, but for right now, Terry Labonte on the pole for the Daytona 500. Looking to absolutely sweep Speed Weeks here. I mean, he is off to a hot start. Jimmy Johnson, now that's happy hour times, I guess. So not sure who qualified second for the moment. So it looks like Labonte is going to be in Gatorade Duel number 1. So without further ado, now we're going to hop on into this race. As mentioned, the Gatorade 125s or the Gatorade Duel races determine the starting order for the Daytona 500. First place inside front row. I'm not reading properly today. The first race is going to determine the inside row. The second race will determine the outside row. Of course, we are on the inside row with qualifying on the pole. And again, because we qualified on the pole, we are locked in. If you win this race outside of Terry Labonte, you'll start third on up. So it is key to finish as high as you possibly can. So Terry Labonte is our fan-voted season on the pole as we'll take it through the starting lineup for the Gatorade Duel number 1. Labonte on the front row, on the pole, inside, outside of him, Dale Jarrett on the front row. It'll be Ricky Rudd and Matt Kenza starting in row number 2. Behind those guys in row number 3, it'll be Joe Nemechek and Kevin Harvick. In row number 4, Bill Elliott and Michael Waltrip. A lot of great super speedway racers, including Waltrip, starting in the top 10 in dual race number 1. Rookie Greg Biffle with a great qualifying effort, but he'll start 9th in the dual race with Elliott Sadler to his outside, starting 10. Behind those guys in row number 6, it'll be Sterling Marlin and Jeff Green. And in row number 7, Steve Park and Jeff Burton. And behind those guys in row number 8, we've got the Rocket Man, Ryan Newman, our defending champion in Season 1, and Jerry Nadeau outside of him in row number 8. In row number 9, it'll be Stanton Barrett and Tony Stewart, runner-up of Season 1 in the championship standings there. Behind those guys in row number 10, it'll be Mike Skinner and David Green. Green will be running a part-time schedule throughout the course of this season. And behind those guys, rounding out the field in row number 11, Christian Fittipaldi and Ken Trader. Again, just 22 drivers in this race, 21 drivers in race number 2. So we are about to get going here today. A quick 50-lapper to set the field for the Daytona 500. We're going green as Speed Weeks continues. Labonte with a great jump on the initial start, pulling up in front of Dale Jarrett. He's still going to run hard, even though he will start on the pole, but he's got to make sure he brings his car back in one piece today so he can secure the pole. If he gets in a bad accident and has to go to a backup car, that will not be good, and he'll have to surrender that pole award that he had already today. Hopefully you guys are having a nice Tuesday evening here. Again, the Daytona 500 will be coming up after this. Start time is going to be right around 6 o'clock. It'll be 10 to 15 minutes after the conclusion of this race. It's really just going to depend on when this race ends. Exactly. We went caution-free in the Budweiser shootout last night. Labonte not only pulled off the win like we mentioned, but he did it on pit strategy, only pitting twice in that race versus everybody else pitting 3 times for whatever reason. Still didn't quite get to the bottom of why that was the case, but that pretty much gave Labonte an easy win, and that's why he's able to lead a lot of laps along the way. This is going to be different. We know this is going to be a one pit stop race for certain. These guys can go about 40 laps on a full tank of fuel, and we'll see if some guys might try to pit as soon as the window opens right around lap 10. I'd have to imagine for the majority of the field, it will likely only be a fuel-only stop. So you will definitely not have to worry about tires in this 50-lap race. Kevin Harvick, after starting 6th, quickly jumping up to 2nd. Bill Elliott looks to his inside now, going into turns 1 and 2. Ricky Rudd still here. There's quite a few veterans in this field, a lot of older veterans as well at this time in 2003. I would say that this is probably the more stacked of the dual races between the two of them. Guys that aren't in this race that are in the second race, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, as far as some of the better drivers of the sport at this time period. Bobby Labonte also in race number 2. But I mean, look at the veterans in this. Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett, all in dual race number 1 here. These guys are really going to race hard and give each other a lot to run for. A lack of attention there. Sterling Marlin also in this race, 2-time Daytona 500 winner. Michael Waltrip, another 2-time Daytona 500 winner in this race as well. So, again, that just adds to the stacked field. I believe Matt Kenseth's in the field. I mean, this dual race is absolutely stacked all the way through the field. I mean, you know it's stacked when Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart have to start at the back of the pack in this race. There's slowly 2 groups now, as the back group has probably about, I'd say 6 or 7 cars. This lead group has about 15 or 16. As Waltrip is looking for the lead on the back of Labonte, nobody's had a big enough of a run to get alongside of him or really have a strong chance to get alongside. Labonte's controlling the lines perfectly as of right now without having to make any drastic moves, as Waltrip now moves high, looking for a push maybe from behind from the 40 of Marlin. Not going to get it. Dale Jarrett to the inside. In Season 1, we did win the dual race at Daytona. It was the only thing we won in Speed Weeks going in. I believe we qualified on the pole as well for the Daytona 500 in Season 1. I could be wrong on that, but I believe we did. And Dale Jarrett looks to the outside. That's as close as we've seen anybody to getting on the quarter panel of Terry Labonte. So Labonte hangs on to the lead. Ashton G, welcome to the stream. Having a lot of lack of attention here down the straightaway. The back straightaway in specific. Wow, big run there by the 40 of Marlin. To the inside of Jarrett. Nowhere to go with it with Labonte on the inside right in front of him. Kenseth up to fourth. Waltrip, who was in second about a lap and a half ago, now back to fifth. How quickly you can come and go through this pack. 2x2 through most of the field. That second group has pretty much caught the first group now. They're a little spaced out, single file for the last 5 or 6 cars, but all 22 of them in this one big giant lead pack. And again, things might get racy here in this exhibition race to set the field for the 500 with it being a shorter field, but once we see 43 cars on the track for the 500 later today, it is going to be a whole different ball game. Points will finally be on the line for the first time this season, and it's the start of trying to not only make history by winning the Daytona 500, the Great American Race, but as well, hopefully having a good start to a possible championship campaign. I can tell you in Season 1 we did not win the Daytona 500. We finished second place. Harvick won it on fuel mileage as we went caution-free in that said Daytona 500. We'll have to see if we can do that 2 seasons in a row here on Thunder 04. And I'll tell you what also, I want to win this race really badly. For myself, means we were not able to do it Season 1. Because it's our last chance to do it with only running 2 seasons per each of these throwback games. 9 people watching already here today. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Again, an earlier start time. I said we were going to go away from the earlier start times. The only reason we did it for this is because I have to run the Duel and the 500 in the same day. So that's why the Duel is starting early, but the 500 will be afterwards. Again, roughly right around 6 o'clock start time. Eastern Standard Time, that is. A lot of trading for position from second on back, but again, the same pace goes at the front of the field for Terry Labonte. A couple cars have lost the draft a little further back. They were single file, a little spread out back there, and it finally came up to bite them. I think Ricky Rudd might get a big run on the bottom. Labonte goes up to block Dale Jarrett, and look at Ricky Rudd. Labonte trying to side draft him real quick, and Rudd will take the lead for the first time today. Terry looks to the inside, trying to cross him over now. And they're side by side for the lead into turn 1. Rudd still getting a run on the outside. Ryan Newman charging through the field after starting right around 15th today. He's looking to get into the top 5. Jeff Green is in the top 3 for the first time. Kyle Button, welcome to the stream. Ethan Greer, welcome as well. Oh, little contact getting into 3. Labonte got right on the left rear of Ricky Rudd. Jeff Green goes high now to help Rudd out on the outside lane. And now Jeff Green is getting a run as well. And Green is going to go for the lead on the bottom of Rudd. Oh, Ricky pulled a block there on Jeff Green. Look at the momentum Green lost. Labonte on the outside, in line behind Rudd. Green still trying to charge on the bottom. And we're using Terry Labonte for this final season due to a fan vote that happened last night before the Budweiser shootout. So thanks all of you that tuned in last night for that race and voted. We had a good turnout as well. 3 wide now for third. Green back in the sucker hole in the middle. He had Marlin to the inside of him, and Kenseth was on the outside. Green able to block Kenseth now on the top. And we have some drivers hitting pit road. So here's the pit strategy we talked about. Pit window is open to make it to the end of this short 50-lap race today. And that is why drivers are pitting right now, as meanwhile Labonte takes the lead aggressively away from Ricky Rudd. It wasn't a lead change as Rudd led the last lap. So the only two drivers to lead lap so far in this race, but it will be the second lead change when we get back to the line, assuming Rudd can't lead back to the line. Every time I look away from the screen to look at the chat, I keep getting into the wall, and I don't know why. I usually do a better job of it, especially because it's down the straightaways when I'm doing it. Rudd almost got to the outside there. The danger spot with short pitting, though, is coming up right now, as these guys are going to go a lap down. I don't think all of them are going to go a lap down, but some of them will. And I'd have to assume everybody else is likely going to pit at the end of this 40-lap fuel run if we stay green long enough. Ryan Newman up to second. Kenseth trying to cross him over for position now. Dale Jarrett coming out of the pits. He is going to try to fall himself in line. He's a lap down. Big run by Ryan Newman on the outside, blocked off by Labonte. Next Heat 5 stream is going to be tomorrow at Bristol for the Truck Series. Start time, I believe, is going to be right around 7 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever it's set to right now, it's either 7 or 8 o'clock. It might be 8. I'd have to look after the end of this race, honestly. I can't remember. I usually try to put all the tomorrow. Kind of nervous, honestly. For whatever reason. Harvick, Kenseth trading spots there. Newman up to third. Kenseth back to fourth after running second a half a lap ago. Those drivers that pitted, I'm not sure if they took tires or not. I think the AI usually does like to take tires, so I'd have to assume they probably did. Labonte will pit fuel only when he has to come to pit road for the first time eventually here today. I can guarantee that. Ricky Rudd pulling off onto pit road as well. I'm not sure if anybody else is going with him. That could be bad if he doesn't have any drafting help. Very interesting pitting, not when the rest of the cars that pitted as soon as the window opened on lap 12, but as well he comes to pit road by himself. Pretty questionable. If he goes a lap down, you'd have to assume that is likely going to be a bad call to pit at that time. Got to make sure you have at least one other driver coming to pit road with you so you have some sort of drafting help. The more, the better. It's all 22 cars, I believe, still out on the racetrack.
Number 17 is coming right.
Well, this game takes over for the 2003 season, so it would be 18 years old in 2021, so about 17. I don't know when the release date was, so it's just over 17 years old. Probably as classic of a NASCAR video game, console game at least, as you can get. Almost hands down one of the favorites for a lot of NASCAR fans. Not my sentimental favorite, but it's definitely a fun game. Again, I played a lot more of 05 and 07 growing up. 04 is pretty good. More than pretty. It's really, really, really good. So Joe Nemechek, who has lost the pack from those drivers that pit as soon as the window opened, is all by himself and in danger of going a lap down. Ooh, Kenseth almost got the side of Newman off of turn 2. They're side by side for position now as Terry Labonte's getting a huge draft off of Joe Nemechek and a giant run behind front row Joe. Newman trying to hang on for second. Nemechek blocking for his life right now. He definitely doesn't want to go a lap down as Terry's trying to get around him. Looks to the outside. Going off into turn 1. Not sure if that's going to be the move. No, couldn't get around him there. He holds on to the lead. Kenseth to second. Bill Elliott maybe trying to charge again. Big run down the back straightaway coming from Terry Labonte. To the back of the 25 of Nemechek, and Nemechek didn't even pull down and block that time. He's going to let Labonte go. Stay on the outside, hoping he gets a push from Kenseth. As Kenseth goes to the inside of him now. Yes, this is the Gatorade Duel. Daytona 500 coming up next. 3 wide back there. I think Park is 4 position if I'm not mistaken. He went right up the middle between Nemechek and Newman. Newman trying to get a run. So about halfway on fuel for these guys. We'll have 30 laps to go in the dual race already this time by. Caution free so far. Newman looks to the outside for the lead. Oh, they almost made contact. Labonte trying to crowd him, and he holds on, barely, to the lead at the line. Newman almost led his first lap. That was the 500. I don't think Newman was going to let him go. Well, I should say if it was 30 to go in the 500, like it's 30 to go in this race. I don't think Newman was just going to let Labonte go when Labonte crowded him. He was going to stay in the gas any means necessary. No, it's going to be a completely different stream. It's scheduled for 6 o'clock right now. If this race gets done late for whatever reason, if we get a lot of cautions in the second half of this one, then I'll bump the start time back to about 6:15, 6:30. But as of right now, we're set to go at 6 o'clock. Running 3 wide again back there. Steve Park got put in the sucker hole. Now he makes a great move to the inside. Look at the run by Park. Trying to side trap Labonte off of turn 4. Boy, he had a massive push for Michael Waltrip. As Labonte was on the outside trying to hold back Newman, Labonte somehow gets a run off of 4 on the outside to beat Park down to the start-finish line and clear him again before they get into turn 1. Oh boy. Again, I think with Labonte being up towards the front, I think it's helping. We obviously know he's got good single car speed because he qualified on the pole. We'll have to see if he gets back in traffic at any point, if that's still going to be the case. Down through the tri-oval. He continues to lead. And that's going to be crucial come the 500 because, again, there are bonus points. 1 bonus point, or I should say 5 bonus points if you lead 1 lap in the race. If you can lead the most laps in the race, you get an additional 5 bonus points. So this is what Labonte's going to have to do in the 500. He's going to have to control the lines as best as he can and lead as many laps as he can, as he's going to have to do all season. There's a little bit of contact there between Labonte and Michael Waltrip. Down the back straightaways, Labonte tries to hold on to the lead. We'll see if anybody tries to split this race in half. I would have to assume we might see more pit stops coming up at about lap 25 or 26. Definitely possible. Ethan, I hope to see you there too. Again, I think with the way the field was last night in the shootout as well as the 500, it's not a full field, and I think that plays into effect with this going caution-free. Once we get 43 cars out there, obviously at Daytona, nonetheless, it's going to be more prone to seeing an accident. In the Pepsi 400 in Season 1, we had a lot of cautions versus the 500 went caution-free, so it'll be interesting. It's going to be probably either or. We're not going to see hardly any cautions, or we're going to see a ton of them in the 500 today, I'd have to imagine. Cross flags in the air. We're halfway home. 25 laps down. Another 25 still to go in Gatorade Duel number 1 at Daytona. Pack of about 8 cars or so battling it out for the lead. Oh, we got smoke! Down the back straightaway. I'm not sure what happened there. Labonte went low. He wasn't sure if there was any slow cars in the way. Steve Park goes to the outside for the lead. There are slow cars now on the racetrack as Labonte is roaring on by, putting about 4 cars a lap down. Never lifted. I think maybe there was some contact between Jeff Green and Ricky Rudd that caused them to slow down like they did. And now everybody that's short pitted is a lap down all of a sudden. And Labonte's got about a 1-second lead back to Ryan Newman with about 4 lap cars in between the top 2. Again, this race in particular will determine the inside row for the Daytona 500. Means we qualified on the pole. It's an odd number. The odd numbers are in race 1. The even numbers based on qualifying will be in race number 2. We will not actually physically see race 2. As that will just be simulated for us to go to the Daytona 500 after the conclusion of this race. Big run on the outside by Ricky Rudd, and Labonte couldn't even block it. Here comes Sterling Marlin behind him. Now Rudd is a lap down. I'm not sure if Marlin's on the lead lap or not. Not a lot of help on the bottom, though, for Terry Labonte. And he does hold on to the lead, so Marlin's a lap down also. 3 wide. What a move by Waltrip on the inside. Labonte again trying to get a run. Behind Sterling Marlin. Looks to the inside. Boy, he drove it off deep into turn 3. Tapped the brakes a little bit coming back up onto the racetrack just to make sure he wasn't going to slide into Marlin. And we are locked in with the pole as well. Again, this race will determine third on back on the inside row, and race number 2 will be fourth on back. The top 2 in qualifying will remain 1-2 at the start of the 500 as long as they don't crash out of their dual race and have to go to a backup car. Bonnie's got a couple interesting lap cars here right around him that already short pitted. Jeff Green, Sterling Marlin, Ricky Rudd right around him. Labonte trying to draft with Marlin right now. Kevin Harvick in his group as well. Not sure if he's battling for the lead or not. He is. Harvick shown in second. Waltrip shown in third. Big run to the inside. 3 wide now goes Labonte. Marlin got put back in the sucker hole. Labonte pulls up and clears the 21 of Rudd as well. What a pass. Couple of passes. Put him back a lap down again. We'll have 20 laps to go in duel number 1 this time by. Right front starting to wear this far into the run. Again, it will be a fuel-only stop for Labonte when the time comes. He doesn't want to be the exact last one to pit without any drafting help, but taking fuel only, he's likely not going to have anybody else taking fuel only if I had to imagine as well. Although that would be the right call. I'm only having to go 10 laps extra in this race outside of a fuel run. Harvick getting a push from Ryan Newman on the inside line. Newman fans out for the moment. Trying to make a move on Harvick himself. Labonte trying to block Harvick. 19 to go in duel number 1. They're swinging back and forth through the tri-oval, battling it out for the lead. Dale Reynolds, welcome to the stream, man. Texas Terry Labonte leading the way here in dual race number 1 at Daytona. Kind of a single file line all of a sudden. They were double wide. Even 3 wide there for a little bit as well. They're singling out. Nobody came to pit road that time. We will see green flag stops, though, in less than 10 laps. Top 5 at the line. Terry Labonte, followed by Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, Michael Waltrip, and Matt Kenseth in the top 5. Some of these drivers are lap cars that are already pitted, and some of them are lead lap cars battling for the lead that still have to pit. It's kind of split in half as far as who does have to pit and who doesn't have to pit. And they're about to go 3 wide again. Jeff Green on the outside. I thought Newman was going to go up the middle. Steve Park kind of pulled in front of him. Steve Park has been making crazy moves through this pack already in today's race. Just imagine what he's going to do in the Daytona 500 coming up in a little bit. Newman starting to fade. He's back to 5th. Harvick and Labonte getting way out ahead. Labonte's car's tightening up here on the long run a little bit. It's a little harder for him to stick the very bottom near that yellow line in the center of the corner. Thanks for stopping by, Ethan. Hope to see you in the 500 coming up soon.
Number 29 is right behind you.
Big run. On the inside by Park. Again, it's stalled out. I'm surprised he's not trying to work with a teammate of Kevin Harvick on the outside of him. Park is on the lead lap. Same strategy as the rest of the drivers on the lead lap. Waltrip now pulls to the inside. They're 3 wide back through the center of the pack now. Looks like Bill Elliott's the lone man in the middle. Harvick now kind of pulls down in front of him, so he gets a little bit of drafting help in the center of the corner. And they're double wide again down the back straightaway. Again, it will be a fuel-only stop for Labonte at least. It's going to get him quite a ways out ahead of the pack. It's going to be interesting to see if this pack is actually going to be able to catch him again. And there goes some more drivers to pit road. Bill Elliott comes down, so does Steve Park on the inside. 15 to go in dual race number 1. Waltrip up to 2nd. He had a heck of a run after those cars pitted in front of him. Stayed in the gas. Got a big run on the back of the 5 of Labonte, who was out in front of him on the inside. Newman followed him, and Newman actually made a move to the inside of Waltrip. Harvick now down to the bottom. Goes even lower, maybe trying to make it 3 wide. He might be coming to pit road. I think he's out of fuel. Harvick's out of fuel. And he just drops like a rock now down the back straightaway into turn 3. He's going to have to limp it to pit road. Waltrip is coming in this time, so is Kenseth. Newman stays out. Labonte stays out at the front of the field. Elliott Sadler's still out of the pits as well. I think those are the last three. Big line on the outside. I think Harvick ran out of gas. He was stuck on the outside with Steve Park to his inside off of 4 the lap prior. He might have wanted to come down with his teammate, and he just couldn't do it with all those cars to his inside, so he tried to make another lap, and by the time they got into turn 3, he was out of fuel. And this pack is now just spaced apart a ton. Elliott Sadler coming to pit road. Ryan Newman, Terry Labonte stay out of the leaders. Lap 38 this time by. And those are the last 2 drivers that have to pit. And Ken Schrader. Schrader's got to pit as well. He's 9 seconds off the lead. He lost the draft at the very beginning of the race, started at the rear. So we're going to see a lot of single file racing until the pack gets organized again, if it gets organized again to the end of the race. Again, we're caution-free. It'd be a caution-free start to Speed Weeks. We already went caution-free in the Bud Shootout last night. Looking to do the same here. Ryan Newman still on the outside. Terry Labonte coming to pit road this time. Doesn't want to risk it. Newman now down to the bottom. He'll stay out. Newman's going to lead his first lap of the race. Try not to lock the tires as much as possible. So it'll be fuel only. Can repair any damage if there is. No need to. I guess there really isn't any damage. So Harvick's still on pit road. I don't think he blew an engine, but I wonder if he's out of the race now with running out of gas. I'm not sure how that works with the AI. Guess he didn't have to put a full tank in, but still have enough in to make it to the end of the race. It's a lot quicker of a stop going fuel only as Labonte works his way back out onto the racetrack. And he's going to try to get up to speed as soon as he possibly can, with 12 laps to go in Gatorade Duel number 1. Ryan Newman coming to pit road this time. Labonte's got a huge advantage. Another driver looking to be out of the race. Greg Biffle in the 16 is blowing an engine as he coasts it now down the back straightaway. The rookie Biffle qualified well for the 500, started 9th in this race. But he will not make it to the end. He will be starting now at the rear of the field for the 500 here today. Ken Schrader also on pit road with Newman as well. 11 to go this time by. Labonte will be back to the lead the following time by. And will the pack of cars catch Terry Labonte by the end of the race, or will the fuel only stop again be able to win it? Like the pit strategy we saw with him last night, taking 1 stop less than the rest of the field. He didn't really lock the tires up coming to pit road as well. They probably still would have made it another 10 laps, even if he did, but conserved his tires as much as possible. He's going to have to make sure he has pit road entries like that under green flag conditions in the 500 as well, because there's probably going to be a lot of 2-tire strategies going on in the 500 for Labonte and his crew to try and lead as many laps as they can.
Only 10 laps left.
So 10 laps to go. Ryan Newman is 10 seconds off the lead right now and leading that second pack, so staying out longer obviously helped for him as well. And they have fresher tires to add on to things around this bumpier Daytona International Speedway. So you've also got that to kind of play into effect. The rest of the pack was a second quicker that last lap. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. So second quicker. They're 9 seconds back with 9 laps to go. It's going to be really close. And when they catch him, they're going to have a huge run. With Labonte having zero drafting help, we saw in the pack Labonte was going anywhere between 190 to almost 200 miles an hour today. At the end of the back straightaway here, he is going about 187, so he's about 5 to 10 miles an hour slower than the pack that is drafting together. We still could get a caution before the end as well. To factor in, we again are caution free. .2 back. It is going to be really close. Kenseth up to second now. Ryan Newman falls back to fifth. Lost 4 spots in 1 lap. And that's just the product of restrictor plate racing. You can move up just as quickly as you can move back, and vice versa. Maximus King, welcome to the stream. Thunder 04 time indeed. Start of the final season for Thunder 04 on the channel. Again, fan vote brought us to racing as Terry Labonte for this final season of 04. You guys got to vote. I like that you guys thought outside of the box. I was expecting like Jeff Gordon or Dale Jr. to win the fan vote or something like that, but you guys thought outside the box. Now, we did have votes for those drivers, but not as many votes as what Terry Labonte had. So that's awesome. 2 seconds faster that last lap for Matt Kenseth and the rest of the pack. They are going to catch Labonte before the end of this race. They are running, obviously, at a faster rate, and they are catching Labonte really, really fast. Labonte trying to change his line down the back straightaway, see if that's maybe going to help. So it's going to be a tough job to try and block on older tires for those last couple laps. Things could get interesting. Labonte already on the pole for the 500, just has to bring it back in one piece, but you still want to win, especially at Daytona. And he's trying to go for the clean sweep here in Speed Weeks as well. Again, won the butt shootout, qualified on the pole for the 500, now trying to win the duel. The only thing left after that is the 500 itself. And after not even winning the Daytona 500 in Season 1 with my man Greg Biffle, that could be a huge turn of events there. We did win the duel race in the Daytona 500 pole award in Season 1, but that was it. We didn't even make it to the end of the shootout. We finished second in the 500. Five to go this time by. We'll see how much more that gap is closed.
Five more laps.
2 more seconds. So the last 2 laps, Kenseth and crew have gained 4 seconds on Terry Labonte. First couple laps, they were only gaining a second at a time. Last couple laps, they've gained 2 seconds of it at a time. And it's going to be really close. And top speed has only been about 186 to 187 miles an hour. Single car speed. Four to go. Kenseth only gained a second that last lap. There's only about 3 or 4 cars, though, in that lead pack now. That could be some of it. Something happened that kind of spaced them apart a little bit more. Could have been some accidental contact in there that caused it. Darren Dill, welcome. Here we go. Coming to 3 to go this time by for Terry Labonte. These are a long 12 laps from the time he pitted to the finish. He wants to see that checkered flag right now. Waltrip up to second. They only gained 0.3 of a second that last lap. That lead pack is just getting more and more spaced apart, and that's helping Terry Labonte all of a sudden. That's what he wants to see. 2 to go.
2 more times around.
Waltrip a second quicker that last lap, but he's only got Michael Waltrip for help. It's 2 cars versus 1. It's still a little bit of drafting help. I don't think he can close that gap in time, though. If they would have just stuck together and not broken away from each other, they definitely would have caught Terry Labonte. With them breaking apart, I think it's going to be too little too late now. White flag's going to be in the air off of turn 4 this time for Terry Labonte to win the Gatorade Duel at Daytona, race 1.
We're on lap 50.
Waltrip still in second on Kenseth. They'll battle it now to see who will start third in the Daytona 500 between the two of them. I don't think there's any hope for them to catch Terry Labonte. I mean, they've got a big run off of turn 2, but they're still a little less than 2 seconds back at the time. They only gained 0.6 of a second that last lap again. And that's just not going to be enough. Off of turn 4, one final time. Waltrip still trying to hang on to second so he can start third in the 500. Kenseth riding right behind him, but it's Terry Labonte winning Gatorade Duel number 1. And he'll go for the sweep in the Daytona 500 for Speed Weeks. An unbelievable victory celebration here as they will save the engine for the race later today. We'll take a look at the unofficial results to today's race. Again, Labonte with the win, leads all but 4 laps of the 50 in this Gatorade Duel race, led 46 of them. Michael Waltrip did hang on to finish second, Kenseth third. Sterling Marlin ends up finishing in 4th. Tony Stewart rounds out the top 5. Ryan Newman led a couple laps on pit strategy there. He finishes in 6th. Jeff Green 7th, followed by Ricky Rudd 8th. He was the only other driver to lead laps in this race. That was not virtue of pit strategy. Bill Elliott finishes 9th, and Steve Park rounds out the top 10. And we had a couple DNFs in today's race. Kevin Harvick ran out of fuel. He will finish last and have to start dead last in the Daytona 500. He'll try to go back-to-back. Remember, he won the Season 1 Daytona 500, and Greg Biffle blew an engine. We saw that. And Elliott Sadler as well blew an engine there with only 5 laps to go in the race. 4 laps to go in the race. So that was unfortunate. Those 3 will be starting at the back. And we're the only 3 to DNF here in race number 1. Well, that's going to be it here for this one. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Hit the like button down below if you enjoyed the race, the commentary, the video in general, and it helps me out as well for the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. The Daytona 500 will be coming up in about 10 to 15 minutes. Hopefully you guys see that right here on the channel for NASCAR Thunder 2004. I expect a pretty good showing. It's going to be a fun season, and it starts with the Great American Race. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you very soon.